Welcome to lesson number 6 for chapter 4. And in this lesson, we'll be covering ambient and silhouette lighting. Now, these are kind of self explanatory lighting types, but again, very good ones to know and common ones to use. So let's dive into Blender and let's get started. All right, so over here in Blender, we have a statue of a horse that I got from Polyhaven. And we're going to start off with ambient lighting since it's the simplest one. Ambient lighting is kind of similar to high key lighting, where we're using ambient light to get as much of a genuine image as possible. So in this case, we have the default environment. And if we were to simply change this to white, this is basically ambient lighting, right? We're getting ambient lighting that is lighting our image evenly. And the only thing we could do is add in a little bit more contrast here. So for example, we go color management and we go punchy, and maybe we add in one more area light to add some extra shape here on this thing. Make this guy smaller, something like that. Now we're getting very nice ambient lighting just with these two lights, basically a white world color and a area light that is really small shining at the top of our horse here. We're getting nice ambient lighting. We're using the lighting from the environment as much as possible. Now for a more interesting look, I wouldn't use the world color, but instead use an HDRI or like the Nishida sky texture, for example. I'm going to go and use an HDRI because it's going to add in a little bit more color. So again, I have a bunch of these that I got from Polyhaven. In the lesson about lights and light types, I'm going over how to get these. But basically, we can use any one of these and we're going to get some interesting colors. Now, I think, for example, let's go for this one here where we get a bit of brown and a bit of green from the trees in the ground there. And if we just disable our light here, that's how it's looking right now. And as you can see, we're getting a bit of blue. We're getting some warmer tones in there, especially if I tone this down, you can easily see what the color is that it's being included here. So maybe we go 0.5 on this one, we add back in the area light there, and there you have it. That's a nice way for ambient lighting to happen. So ambient lighting is great for getting soft overall shapes, just very similar to high key lighting. The difference being that in this case, we're not mainly using lights, but instead we're using the world or the HDRI to light our subject for us, with maybe one additional light creating some highlights on the subject. Now, the other lighting method in this lesson is called silhouette lighting. So let's go back into Blender and have a look at that. All right, so we're just gonna go and remove our area light here, and we're also gonna remove our HDRI and our background in general, and let's just make it black. Yep, let's go. We're making this thing black. All right, so silhouette lighting is what you kind of would expect it to be, right? We're emphasizing the silhouette. So we don't want to see any of the detail inside of our object. We just want to see the contours of it. And to do that, first of all, we need to create a backlight here. So I'm going to go Shift A, light, area light, and we're just going to go and we're going to move it something like there. I'm going to move it to the back there. And immediately once we do that, we already get our silhouette lighting here. Again, let me disable overlays here. Basically, this is already pretty amazing silhouette lighting, right? Because we have the backdrop and we just added in one area light that's creating contrast between the backdrop and our statue in this case. And we're getting nice rim lighting on our statue. This one single light could be plenty for us to do our lighting with. Now, usually, and that's because we're working with a very, very small size object here. Usually what you would do, get a light like this and maybe make it a little bit smaller, something like that. And you would rotate it so you're getting somewhat of a nice even backdrop there. Let's see, we go into solid view there. Let's re-enable our overlays. Yeah, we don't want this to intersect with the ground there. So we're just gonna go have it be something like that. All right, so this is going to be basically our color for the back there. And the only thing that we now need to do is we need to introduce a few more of these that we're going to light our actual model here. Again, we don't want to see too much detail of our mesh here. We just want to see the contours of it. I'm just going to go and make sure that these are placed at the back there. All right, so what you get if you have these area lights and you're working with like an infinite backdrop like I have in this shot here, is that you quite easily have these overlapping with the ground, right? And that's creating these harsh edges here. I don't want those. I don't really like those. So what I'm going to do to fix that is use light linking like we've talked about several times before. So just select the light, go into shading here, into the object properties, light linking. Let's add a new one. And we're just going to throw our horse statue collection in there. Same for this one. We're going to use that same light linking for area 2. This will make sure we're not getting any of that lighting interfering with the ground there. Now this is creating a bit too much of a shadow here, so I'm just gonna go and introduce one more area light, put that up top there, and we're just gonna go make that very, very subtle. Something like that. And because I don't want it to create any additional lighting for our horse here, again, because we only want the silhouette, we're going to do light linking again. But in this case, we're going to add in our plane here, so it only affects the plane and we can actually have it sort of light up the ground a little bit without it affecting too much of our mesh here. So something like that, make it nice and subtle. Just don't want it to be completely black, essentially. And there you have it. That is our silhouette lighting. Again, using a backlight to create some sort of contrast with the background, and then adding in 1, 2, or maybe even 3 silhouette lights to sort of create these nice rim lights around the shape, emphasizing the silhouette without showing any of the real detail that our model truly has. So all these parts up here, they are occluded, and that is exactly what we want. We just want to show the silhouette for a very, very dramatic look. All right, and that wraps up silhouette and ambient lighting, which are, again, very useful techniques to light subjects in Blender. And that wraps up this lesson. So let's move on to the next one, where we'll cover portrait lighting, which is, again, a very, very powerful method to light subjects and especially characters.